Hello, I'm Lorenzo from Cine Underground, and this is the first episode of a series of conversations with directors. And our first guest, I'm really happy that he's here with us, is Lee Demarbre, the director of Jesus Christ, Vampire Hunter, and a lot of other movies that we're gonna talk about. Hi Lee, how are you doing?
Good, Lorenzo. Thanks for having me.
I have a series of talking points, but I want this just to be a conversation about movies in general, so feel free to change the subject anytime you want. Okay?
Okay, good.
So, um, well, we have to start talking about Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter because it's the first movie that we released as a distribution company, and this year is 2026 and is the 25th anniversary of the movie. So, 25 years. Are you planning some celebrations?
Yeah, we're actually, you guys released an incredible Blu-ray, so thank you for the lovely passion that you put into that disc. And your color corrected, the National Archives of Canada scanned the negative and you color corrected it. We're screening that version of the movie here in Ottawa at the Mayfair Theatre in the middle of June. So June 10th will mark the 25th anniversary of Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter. But that's a Wednesday, which is kind of a lame night for a big party. So the Friday, Saturday leading up to that, and then we're going to show throughout the week here in Ottawa, and maybe hopefully arrange some other screenings throughout the year. But it's really exciting to be able to bring it back. I'm shooting a new film right now. I'm shooting my 9th film. And when if I'm still alive to celebrate the 25th anniversary of my new movie, I'm going to probably be in a wheelchair. So I'm glad at least I get to have one good silver anniversary standing on my own 2 feet.
First of all, happy birthday, Jesus. So,
Yes, he now has 2 birthdays this year.
and as I said a lot of times while promoting this release, it's actually the first movie that introduced me personally to the world of underground independent cinema.
Cool, yes.
And this is one of the talking points because I'm curious about what's your view on this subject. I discovered this movie because it was like instantly ripped and put online and on
Yes,
YouTube. And
really crappy copy.
yeah, with also it had in the Italian there was an actually Italian video of this with the subtitles that were terrible, but it went like kind of viral. I mean, it was it went all over the world because it was instantly ripped, and it wasn't like today. I think 25 years ago, where as a filmmaker you are you always like consider this fact that your movie is one way or another getting online without your consent. So how did you react?
Well, you make me think about going to the University of Mexico City. Phil Caracas. His real name is Phil Graham.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, his real name is Phil Graham, but we went with the name Phil Caracas because we thought it was funny. I was gonna take the name Lee Chicago, and I just at the last minute changed my name back to my real name. And anyway, but he's Phil Caracas. That's his stage name. In real life, he's Phil Graham. We were invited to this University of Mexico City. Geez, back in 2002, maybe. And when we went there, and it was packed. The university had a big theater, and it was packed, and everyone had bootleg VHS copies. And Phil and I were signing them, and someone said, "What do you feel about these bootleg?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, we never made a distribution deal in Mexico, but I'm just happy people are watching it." I think whether you think I'm a good filmmaker or not, I'm a terrible businessman. And I love making the movie, and I'm glad that people are watching it. It's great meeting people like you who love the film so much. But I never predicted a big success for the movie. I never imagined that this is. I meet so many filmmakers who feel like they're going to make their first movie and make millions of dollars, and that'll be the rest of their life. And what ends up happening, they make $10 and they never make a movie again. And I didn't want to fall into that trap of delusions and grandeur. So I never pictured it being a success. So I never anticipated making money off of it. I was just happy people were watching it. It's more important to me that people watch the film than me trying to sell it to. Geez, back then it wasn't Netflix. The best deal we could have got back then was a nice, VHS release. DVDs were coming out. Anchor Bay was still. I don't know if you knew Anchor Bay.
Yeah.
But Anchor Bay was the dream label back then, and a terrible name for an underground distribution company. And they had a logo, which is a sailboat, which is really lame. But they were. I got every title, and that would have been a dream. But that would never have happened. So I don't know. I'm happy. I'm happy what happened to the film. Never thought of success, just happy that people seen it. I guess, though, in retrospect, I wish people saw a better copy of the movie. Because, I don't know if I told you the story, but we shot it on 16mm film.
Yeah.
And we had a screening in Ottawa. So I spent, $15,000 of my own money, which was a lot.
Yeah.
I was young. 25 years ago, I was young. And so to finish a 16mm print. And I had to spend another $10,000 on a sound mix to put the optical track on the print. So when it came to the transfer to VHS to send to film festivals, I only had $200 left over, and I spent $200 on the transfer that the world saw. That shitty VHS transfer that I did from film festivals, that's what got pirated. That's what went out to the world, and I wish I spent a little bit. I wish I waited. I was just so hungry to get it in the film festival because I did think it would do well at festivals, and it did. It won like 7 international film festival awards, which is a lot for me, for a little Canadian filmmaker. Who, to me, I don't know how you feel living in Italy, but Hollywood seems very far away.
Oh yeah.
And Hollywood was always sort of a dream to make it in Hollywood, and I never thought that would be a thing, but I did think the film would do well in festivals. I thought it would end there. So that shitty $200 VHS transfer. I don't know if you're familiar with the Total Film Magazine release of the film.
No.
So Total Film Magazine was do you remember Premiere Magazine?
Yeah.
So Premiere had a rival. Towards the end of Premiere's run. Maybe Premiere stopped at that point, but Total Film was the international film magazine, and there was a label in North America, and there was a label in Europe, and they approached me at Cannes, saying, because we crucified a lesbian vampire at Cannes to promote the movie, and I have pictures I should show you the crucified lesbian, and so Total Film said to me, we want to give out free copies in our magazine in North America. And that same month in Europe, it'll be Species. I don't you remember that crummy little horror film Species. So in Europe, they got Species free in the magazine, and everywhere in North America, people would get Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter. And it was really exciting. The magazine came out, and you went to the middle, and there was a really nice label with the disc inside, and it was a really cool artwork for Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter. But what happened, they screwed up the disc. So if you open up Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter in North America, you open up and the disc said Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter. You put it in, it was Species. And in Europe,
I can't believe
you put your Species disc in, it's Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter. So it was a lose-lose, because people wanting to see Species were going to be disappointed by this crummy basement movie. And it was the shitty $200 VHS transfer, which got pirated. And I think that's what you probably saw. And then someone added some crummy Italian subtitles on it. I never realized the value of good subtitles. You guys put a lot of work into your subtitles. I didn't realize the value of good subtitles until I started working at a cinema. And Phil Graham, Caracas, spoke Spanish. And when we showed like Pedro Almodovar movies or some, films from Spain, films that were in Spanish, whether from Mexico or, wherever, he told me, oh, you're missing all the good jokes because the subtitles are terrible. He made me appreciate that.
Yeah.
So thank you for all your work on the subtitles.
Thank you. Living in Italy, you have to rely on subtitles, especially for like underground movies that they're very difficult to see. But sometimes during, if you see a movie in the festival circuit, usually subtitles are done by interns or underpaid people, and
Yeah.
it's very difficult to find like. I think it's a category on its own. It's like festival subtitles, and sometimes they end up being the official subtitles of the movie. And
it's funny when you say in Italy you rely on subtitles, because when I think of Italian cinema, I think of poorly dubbed English, all the dubbed versions of Italian cinema. Which I love, and that Jesus Christ Vampire, we shot MOS, without sound. And because of all those great Italian movies that came out where everything was post-dubbed anyway, we shot on a little 16mm Bolex camera, which was loud.
Yeah.
So I couldn't record sound anyway. So it was fine because Italian cinema gave us the permission to post-dub everything. The only thing sync sound we did on 16mm was for Lloyd Kaufman, because he was only in town for a short time. For Harry Knuckles and the Pearl Necklace, but for Jesus Christ Vampire, we and all those Italian movies that came out with the English dubbed tracks. Do you know Fred Williamson?
Yeah.
So I was going to make a movie in Jamaica with Fred Williamson. I was going to make a big $5 million action film called Black Kissinger, and it was about and it starred Fred Williamson. He goes to Jamaica and he kicks ass, and it was going to be this incredible action movie. Like, hearken to the blaxploitation films that he was the best star of the era. And so I spent a lot of time with Fred, and he told me that when he went to Italy, he made the first sync sound movie in Italy and changed the industry. That because he made that film in Italy, everyone after that made Italian movies with sync sound. So I said to Fred, so you single-handedly ruined Italian cinema. Thank you. Because Dario Argento and all those guys, and Umberto Lenzi and Lucio Fulci, their films got less interesting when they started using boom poles and sync sound. The concentration wasn't on beautiful images. It was always, I find it very frustrating when you're on set and you have to figure out. I feel bad for my poor sound guy when he has to set up the boom pole. I'm like, I just want to film because and then you have to think about this stupid arm in the shot and shadows. And it's really important, obviously. And our sound people do really good work, but it's just. I keep forgetting that I just want to shoot without thinking about sound. Anyway, I love Italian cinema and Hong Kong cinema too. All those movies that came dubbed in English, I still adore them. Anyway, we're off topic.
It's true. Some movies are more difficult to make when you have the sound guy on set.
Think of those. Argento's movies aren't as interesting.
Yeah.
Two things happened to Argento. One, he started shooting sync sound. And two, he stopped doing heavy drugs.
Yep.
And the movies go. I mean, I love Argento; he's a god, but it's just not as interesting because they're not focused on these beautiful. Like when I think of Argento, you think of Bava, and all these incredible, and Fulci's incredible zombie, the apocalyptic imagery. It's gorgeous, and all that is gone with sync sound.
Yeah.
It only happened in Italy that way.
Thanks, Fred. And
thanks, Fred.
I want to talk about your filmography because you said that you are lucky to witness your 25th anniversary of a movie, but actually you made a lot of movies, like 9 feature films in like 20 years. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a big deal. I think your filmography is great. You made 8 movies, like starting from 2001 till 2023, and you have 1 in production right now. So I want to ask you about the different kinds of movie that you made, because you have some movies that you made with the same cast, maybe crew, during the years. And then, especially in 2009, I think 3 movies came out, and one is Smash Cut. I want to talk about Smash Cut because you had
too.
like the dream cast, like an
Yeah,
all-star cast of underground cinema, and
yeah,
I'm really
I
curious
love
about
that
it.
movie. I'm so happy with Smash Cut. Thanks for bringing it up. I really, really, really love the movie. And yeah, it is a dream cast. The other day, I posted something, and Ray Sager liked it or commented. And Ray Sager is the Wizard of Gore.
Yeah.
Ray Sager made many films for Herschel Gordon Lewis, and I can't believe I'm friends with him. I still can't believe that guy's in my friendship column on Facebook, and that we made a movie together. Like, I remember before Smash Cut, I didn't want to make the movie without him. I told my producers, I got to find this guy, because Herschel told me that Ray moved to Canada after they stopped working together. And I was like, I can't believe Ray Sager's in Canada. And it took me years to find him. And just before we started filming, I tracked him down, and he said to me, Lee, I'd love to do your movie, but I haven't had my photograph taken since 1972. He'd never been in front of the camera. And I remember he came to set, and we shot with Smash Cut. And in the in the Wizard of Gore, Montag the Magnificent looks into the camera and he says, concentrate. He's hypnotizing the television audience. Concentrate. And at one point it comes out, concentrate. So he pronounced concentrate wrong. And it's in the movie. So on our film, asking Ray to say concentrate was thrilling. And he didn't remember that he got the line wrong. So he was embarrassed. And I had a 35 millimeter print of the Wizard of Gore. And I run a cinema. I run a cinema here in Ottawa with some partners. And I programmed Wizard of Gore, my 35 millimeter print, and invited Ray to come to Ottawa to present it, which he did. And everyone asked me, what's your favorite thing what's the best thing ever happened running movies at the Mayfair? And I got to say, sitting with Ray Sager in the theater, watching the Wizard of Gore, and he leans to me as it starts and says, I've never seen this movie. I didn't see it when it came out in the theater. This is my first time watching it. And he was pointing out things in the movie I never noticed. At one point, there's a mirror, and the script supervisor was in the mirror, and it was Louise Downs, who had like an affair with Herschel Gordon Lewis while they're making their movies. And there she was, reflected. I'd never seen a picture of her before. It was just a thrill to sit with him and watch it. It was better than an audio commentary. Like audio commentaries on Blu-rays, they're so nice because you feel like you're sitting with the stars or the director of the film, but actually sitting with the wizard and watching it for the first time. It was an absolute thrill. But Smash Cut was my dream that came true, because I guess every filmmaker who starts to make a movie, whether you have a little bit of a budget or no budget, your dream is that you're going to get discovered and you're going to go to Hollywood and make anything you want with other people's money. And so I met this after Harry Knuckles, my second feature film, Harry Knuckles and the Pearl Necklace. I met a producer here in Ottawa, an inspired producer, who wanted me to go to Jamaica and make a black film in Jamaica. And he asked me, what if you were going to go to Jamaica to make a sort of, he wanted to be cult. And I said, well, when I think of black cinema, I think of the blaxploitation era from the 70s in the United States, and my favorite star of that era was Fred Williamson. So the dream would be go to Jamaica and make a movie with Fred Williamson. And it almost happened. But what led me to not making a movie in Jamaica is I ended up making 2 movies in Mexico, The Dead Sleep Easy and a documentary called Vampiro. And right after we finished those movies, we went right into Smash Cut.
Okay.
And I was working with Pierre David on Smash Cut, who produced Scanners for David Cronenberg. And he was a big deal in the Canadian tax shelter era. And right after, during Smash Cut, I met with, I got to know Ruggiero Deodato.
Okay.
And I was going to co-direct Cannibal Holocaust 2 with him. We had a script and we had locations, and I was going to co-direct this movie with Ruggiero Deodato, Cannibal Holocaust 2. I still have the script, and the locations were incredible that he found. and we had a cast, we had and all the, it was really exciting. I thought I was going to have to ask someone else to edit Smash Cut. And it all fell apart because Pierre David tried to convince Ruggiero Deodato to shoot the movie entirely in Ottawa.
Oh.
And Ruggiero was really against that idea. I was against that idea too, just because of the locations he found. He found all these incredible locations. He found a city built on a garbage heap. And it was just the images were beautiful, and I thought Tarantino was gonna be in it, and Eli Roth was gonna be in it. Green Inferno, it was gonna be his Green Inferno before Eli Roth would make Green Inferno, but it all fell apart because the producers got into a big fight, and I felt the need. I wanted to protect Smash Cut, so I agreed to do more movies with Pierre David because I wanted Smash Cut to be my baby. I was afraid someone would take it away and recut it and I wanted to work on the Blu-ray release, and so I made these two movies, Summer's Moon and Strip Naked, for Pierre David, and then he wanted me to direct 2 or 3 films for him a year after that, and I said no. And he asked me again. He said, "Nobody says no to me, Lee." I'm like, I hate being on set with you, Pierre. You stress me out. I'm not. It's not about creative control. It's about creative enjoyment. I want to enjoy myself on set, enjoy the time I'm on set with the cast and crew, and I hate it. So I hid in the Mayfair for a while, and I went to the Mayfair Theatre, became a thing for me. So I started becoming, working in a cinema, and then got back to making movies with Enter the Dragon.
Yes.
A drag queen martial arts kung fu comedy, and now I'm making another film called Dick Toes, about a private detective who has 10 dicks for toes. And those are great because I feel like, like I said earlier, you dream about being discovered and going to Hollywood, making money making movies with other people's money. But I didn't realize then I was living the dream. I was living the dream making Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter and Harry Knuckles and the Pearl Necklace, making movies with my own money. And again, it's not about creative control. And I don't think, I think some people think no one can I know how I'm going to make this movie. No one can make it better than me. It's not like that for me. I just want to enjoy myself and not be stressed. And so with Enter the Dragon and Dick Toes, I feel like I went back to the dream I was living and didn't realize. And we're making movies now. Like, I'm having a ball making Dick Toes. It's like it's crazy what we're getting away with, and it's real guerrilla filmmaking, and it's exciting. And we're breaking all the rules or breaking laws. I might go to prison, but it's gonna be worth it. and I'm not in Hollywood. There was a lot of opportunities that came my way, like going to Jamaica with Fred Williamson, making this movie. I was going to do a Jackie Chan movie, and we had a really exciting script we were putting together with Brad Allen, Jackie Chan's stunt team leader, who I met in Toronto. We were developing a film that Guillermo del Toro was going to be a part of, and Eli Wallach. No, who's not Eli Wallach? Edgar Wright. Edgar Wright was going to be involved. Yeah, it was going to be a big deal. We're going to make this. We were going to remake a Harold Lloyd movie, Safety Last.
Yes.
And we were going to remake that starring Brad Allen, and Jackie Chan was going to be in it. And then Brad Allen started, like, all of a sudden, he worked on Avatar, and then he worked on Rogue One, and then he did Solo. And I'm like, okay, I'm never talking to this guy. He's working for Lucasfilm now. And then the poor man passed away, but he was like, to me, I said to him, like, you are the greatest Caucasian martial artist in the world right now, and you should be in front of the camera. When I love martial arts cinema, and all my favorite martial artists are mostly always non-Caucasian, and that's fine. I love, from Jackie Chan to Jet Li to Sammo Hung and Yuen Biao, and I thought there was a good opportunity to break the mold. Although now we have Scott Adkins, who I love. He's probably my favorite. Him and Donnie Yen are my favorite martial artists. Anyway, that didn't happen because Brad Allen went down. He got sucked up by Hollywood and became the best second unit filmmaker in Hollywood. Like, his work on Rogue One, he did very little work on Rogue One, but his scene he did with Donnie Yen fighting the stormtroopers is incredible, and his work on Solo is insanely good. I can't believe. And he did Scott Pilgrim versus the World and Kick-Ass.
Wow.
All the second unit direction, and he is a real hero. With those films are just like the second unit, the camera angles he was choosing, the choreography, just beautiful stuff. But I lost him, and I was going to do a James Bond film. So Ian Fleming died. His death marked its 50th anniversary. And worldwide, when an author is dead for 50 years, his work becomes public domain.
Yeah.
But not in the United States. Somehow the United States changed the rules. Somehow, they're changing the Bible and then changing the rules. So, but in Canada, that was the case. So in Canada, Ian Fleming's work became public domain. So we wrote a script we thought we'd remake For Your Eyes Only, which was, the book is set in Ottawa. Most of the story is set in Ottawa, and there's a hotel on Rideau Street that's in the book, and we were going to shoot it in Ottawa. We had all the locations chosen. I had some cast. I wanted Sasha Grey to be in the movie, and it was really exciting. And we got a lot of attention to make this film, and the script was really awesome. And then we got a cease and desist letter from Sony Pictures saying, "You're never going to have this. This movie's never going to come out." And I left it up to, I said to the writers, like, do you want to fight this? Because I thought we could at least make the movie, maybe have it in Canada. But if you lose the United States as a market, then there's no point in making a movie.
Yeah.
So that went away.
Now I'm imagining like Phil Caracas in a tuxedo.
He's the best man at a wedding, so I put Phil in a tuxedo once. He doesn't fill a tuxedo as well as you might think. I'm kidding. He looks good in a bow tie and a cummerbund. And no, it'd been fun if Phil was James Bond. It'd be ridiculous then. It'd have to be a comedy. But you know what, though, Lorenzo? I spent like 9 years trying to make movies. These from Black Kissinger to Jackie Chan and James Bond and all these other films. And I put as much work into movies I didn't make as I would movies I made. And I have nothing to show for it. I spent 9 years trying to make maybe a half a dozen different movies that never got made, and I've got nothing to show for it. Now at least I can send you a screener copy for Enter the Dragon, and soon you can be in the comfort of your own home watch Dictos. Yeah. And so to me that's important. It's time to show off the stories we want to tell instead of just sort of telling stories about the movies I never got to make.
Were you able to borrow something from this project and put it on your...
Yes. Thanks for asking. I had a car chase in Black Kissinger, a big car chase with lots of big ideas, and we were working with Wesley Snipes' stunt double. So Wesley Snipes had a body double and a stunt double. Okay. Jeffrey... I see his name in credits all the time. He's incredible. He's a good second unit director, and he's a very good stuntman. And he was Wesley Snipes' double in all of his movies. And so he came to Jamaica with me a few times, and we were choreographing this amazing car chase that I actually thought of when I was a kid with a friend of mine who used to make movies with. And now I'm doing that scene. Now I'm doing that action scene in Dictos with no budget.
Yes.
So it's a foot chase that turns into a car chase that turns into a boat chase and turns back into a foot chase. It's one action scene that covers a lot of geography, and it's on land, sea, and in air. And so I only have one. We shot all of last. We shot in October the boat chase, last October, and this May we spent every weekend shooting the car chase. And on May 31st, I'll finish the car chase. And we're hanging out, but with no budget. I have a convertible, so convertibles are great for camera cars. So we're following other cars in the convertible and getting these amazing shots. Me and the cinematographer hanging off trucks. Like, you know what sideboards of a truck are? Yeah. We're just standing on the sideboards of trucks, holding onto the side of the trucks, speeding trucks, going on and getting the shots. It's really exciting. It's a danger. We're trying to be as safe as we can. But there's something about when you put your eye to a camera and you're looking at a monitor, you feel safe. Like sometimes I remember shooting Harry Knuckles in a pearl necklace, and I was hanging off the side of a cliff to get this shot. And because I was looking through my viewfinder, I felt safe because I was looking at the movie. But behind me, there was a cliff face, a dangerous drop, and there's something about making movies that makes you feel safe on a tightrope. And I like being on that tightrope. It's exciting. It makes you feel young. It makes you feel courageous. I feel courageous as a filmmaker. I don't know if the movies come off that way, but it's the thrill is being on set making the movie. I hear so many filmmakers talk about I hate being on set. You know, Woody Allen was like that. He only shot from 9 till 5 because he hated being on set. At 5 o'clock, it was done no matter what. And it's like, if you hate being on set so much, why are you making movies? Being on set's fun. It's like being at the back of the bus. You're at the back of the bus, the school bus, having fun with your friends. That's what it's all about. If you're not having fun on set, just don't make a movie. Watch movies instead.
Your movies are like, it shows. All the fun that you have doing your movies, it really shows. And it's something
that means a lot.
That I noted for all your your filmography is like consistent in the fact that it shows that you have passion for what you're doing, and you're having fun. Even the movies that you said were stressful to make, it's something that you can feel when you are in the audience watching a movie, if the cast and crew had fun during shooting it.
I'd like that. That means a lot, because it makes me think about the way I watch Jackie Chan movies, because Jackie Chan's Hong Kong movies seem like it was a lot of fun to be on set with. And when Jackie Chan talks about, discovering like a prop when he's in a location and using that prop, you can feel that energy watching his movies. And I always would like to think, when we're having fun, there's an energy that passes through the lens to the audience. Often they say with comedies that if you're laughing on set, it's probably not going to be funny on the screen. But I don't care. I want to laugh on set. I want to have fun. What am I supposed to do? Sit there in the director's chair and not enjoy myself?
Of course.
If I want to, am I going to watch a porno? I want to masturbate. I'm not going to sit there and just watch a porno.
Can this be the quote of the first quote of the video of this interview?
Let me jerk off. Give me a break.
Yeah, it's really fun, and I think even if something sometimes it may feel like something is an inside joke that came out on set.
Yeah.
But for that specific reason, I find it funny, because it transpires the fun that you're having. I don't know if it's just me or, but
that's a thing. The producers would often say to me, "No inside jokes, right? Because you're the only one who understand the inside joke." But I'm the audience too.
Yeah.
I'm also going to be a part of the audience. I'm probably going to watch this movie more than anyone else in the world. So let me enjoy my inside joke. There's funny things that people tell you as a producer. Producers always told me, like Smash Cut was one of those things where I was told repeatedly, it's hard. Don't make a movie about the movie making process, because you're the only one who cares. It's like all those racing movies that come out from movie stars like Sylvester Stallone, Tom Cruise, Jackie Chan. They all love racing. Steve McQueen, James Gardner, they all love racing. And all those passion project racing movies aren't very good because it was important to them, but doesn't really translate. And I was afraid of that too with Smash Cut. And you know what? Smash Cut wasn't a huge hit, but I really liked the movie. And and all these years later, did the investor make their money back? I think they did make their money back. It wasn't in the green as much as they wanted it to be, but all these years later, I adore the film. I talk about it all the time. I think about it all the time. I'll watch it all the time, and I'm still really good friends with Sasha Grey and Ray Sager, and everyone who worked on the movie, from Jesse Buck and Jenny Lee Murray. Yeah, I talk to them all the time. Jenny Lee's in my new movie. So Sasha Grey's sister in the movie, she plays a priest in the new movie, and a very, very, very fetching priestess. Anyway, I'm excited to be working with her again. And Jesse Bucks and his wife worked on costuming for the new movie. He plays Isaac Beaumont in Smash Cut. He lives in Toronto now, but they've been making costumes and sending it to me. So yeah, it's been thrilling to continue to work with the same clique. Like Peter Maher, who I've made all the Harry Knuckles movies with, is now shooting my Dictos. He's the camera operator, and it's thrilling. It's like geez, how long have I known him? And he's, finally stepped behind the camera in a big role, and he's shooting the hell out of the movie. It's a really exciting looking movie.
He's the original poster designer of Jesus Christ.
Yes,
is it?
yes, yeah,
Great.
yeah. So he did Harry Knuckles before Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the poster designer for Harry Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter is shooting Dick Toes.
Wow, it's
Yeah, it
full
is exciting.
circle.
Yeah, it is a big circle. It is.
It's amazing. I love to see the same faces in the filmography of a filmmaker, and it shows
Yeah,
that.
do you remember in Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter when Santo and Jesus are in the thrift store?
Yeah.
And they're shaking down the guy, the beatnik,
Yeah.
and Santo signs an autograph. There's a little blind girl.
Yeah.
She's in Dick Toes. She's all grown up now, and she plays an RCMP. She's the head of the RCMP, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. So this is what we shot on Sunday. And she's in Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter when she was like an infant. She also plays Harry Knuckles and Harry Knuckles and the Treasure of the Aztec Mummy.
Okay, yeah.
You know the girl who licks the poison lollipop?
Yes.
That's her.
It's amazing.
It is. That's the little girl who licks the poison lollipop. I don't know who any of these guys are, but that girl, that's Dick Toes there. That's Dick Toes. That's the hero. And that's James plays RCMP. And those clothes, those are my dad's RCMP clothes. That he passed away recently, and I just raided his wardrobe. And that's the Parliament buildings behind Dick Toes there. The Ottawa. That's our White House. That's our Big Ben.
Yes.
So that's Ottawa. We had no permission to shoot this scene. We took over a bridge, and RCMP would drive by and not say anything because I guess they looked like we were making a movie or a legitimate movie. Anyway, that's what we did on Sunday.
Wow.
So if you like familiar faces from my previous films, you'll like this one.
Amazing. And
I think so.
one thing that I wanted to ask you, but I think you already gave me like an answer, is how you felt about the transition from shooting on film and to digital.
Well, I do like talking about it because it was a big deal for Phil Graham. I think Phil mostly was attracted to Harry Knuckles and Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter because we were shooting on film.
Okay.
He loved hearing the that's really exciting, right? Because when you hear the camera going, that's money, and you better get the shot right. It kind of adds a little bit of pressure. Video cameras don't make any noise. You don't even know if they're on. And Phil's in this movie. Phil's in Enter the Dragon, but I'm not trying to put Phil down, but I can tell he liked being on set less because it wasn't film. It wasn't. On Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter, I was shooting with 100-foot mag reels.
Yeah.
There, it was about this big, and after I would say every half hour to an hour, I was changing, and I'd put a blanket over my head and I'd open up the camera in the dark in the middle of the field or on a bridge or on a boat. I'd have to change the reels with my eyes closed and feed it in the camera, and we'd start shooting again. And then we would take the film and I'd put it in my fridge, and months would go by before I could afford to pay for the processing, and then the processing would come back from the lab. We'd send it to Toronto and it would come back, and then Phil would come over to my house. We'd both be hungover, and we'd put it in the projector and we'd watch the raw footage on the wall. And it was really exciting to see that all the footage came together and processed well, and that was really exciting. I was part of the process. Now with video, it's done. It's like you're on set and it's working. So we lose that realization that hopefully, when you're making a movie on film, hopefully all the footage turns out. On video, it's going to turn out. So there's an excitement. It's like Christmas if you know what's under the tree. If Christmas morning, if you know what toys you got, it's not as exciting as opening a gift and going, holy shit, the Millennium Falcon. So that's what's missing. And I think he liked it less because of that, which is totally cool. I totally get that. What's interesting, though, in Canada, the last film to shoot on 16 millimeter that was finished at 16. I'm not saying Harry Knuckles and the Pearl Necklace was the last movie shot on 16. They're still shooting movies on 16 in Canada, but it was the last feature film to be finished at 16 millimeter. So we had a 16 millimeter print. optical print and all that stuff stopped because digital came.
Yeah.
And Smash Cut is the first film in Canada to shoot on the red camera. So
Wow.
TK, the red camera. It was the first film. Yeah, I remember my producer Rob Menzies told me this is the first. We're the first one to bring the red camera to Ottawa. We ended up dropping it in the toilet. In Smash Cut, there's a crane shot where the camera goes up and in through the window of the Bytown Cinema, and we dropped the red in the toilet. There was a handover where we went from the crane into another cameraman, and he dropped it in the toilet. We had to take apart the red and let it dry and put it back together. And thankfully, it worked. But from that point, because we dropped it in the toilet, we called it the brown. It went from red to brown. But anyway, so Harry Knuckles and the Pearl Necklace is the last film finished on 16 millimeter. Smash Cut is the first film to be shot with the new digital red camera in Canada. So it was that I got to live through the end and the beginning of a new era with these films. And so I think about it often. And I was going to shoot Dictos on 16 millimeter. I wanted to because we have a big part of the movie that's set in a nudist camp. And I thought, I love Doris Wishman and Herschel Gordon Lewis. And I love their nudies that they made in the 60s. And I thought it'd be fun to shoot it on 16. But digital does offer a lot of amazing stuff you can do. Like I love working with the drone.
Okay.
And I wouldn't be able to do that with a 16 millimeter Bolex camera. So I just, we went one more time, favored digital. But I still love 16. I have my 16 millimeter Steenbeck over there, and my 16 millimeter camera is still there. I adore Celluloid. I think about Celluloid all the time. I'll drive 5 hours to Toronto to go see a movie that's being projected on 35 millimeter. But I think it's behind me as a filmmaker.
Creatively, you have more option, not only by drone, I think, with the drones, but I think hanging out of a truck with a 60 millimeter camera is going to be...
Because I need two hands to do 60 millimeter. But digital, you just need one hand. Yeah, that's probably the best way to put it. What's the difference between 16 shooting on celluloid and digital? You only need one hand for digital.
Try hanging off a truck with a 60 millimeter camera.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Oh. I can't wait to see Dictos. It's I remember the teaser post-credit scene after Drag Dragon.
Yeah.
Because I think Cine Underground was the first Italian screening of Drag Dragon, maybe.
Yeah, that makes sense. That does make sense. I haven't really shown it. We've got that. This is a teaser poster that it's still working on.
Oof.
But that's Dictos there.
Yes.
That's just a teaser poster. It's a teaser poster because everyone thinks I'm making it. If I show this, everyone's going to think I'm making a cartoon. But that's Elliot Fauquier's Dictos, and that's Natalia Moreno from Drag Dragon playing Gorch. And there's some lesbian vampires, and yeah.
Perfect.
I haven't showed anyone that before.
I'm so happy. Can we show it, or we have to blur it?
No, you can show it.
Okay.
I'm not going to show you my dick pics. But I wouldn't show you, but that is the first. It's pretty cool, huh?
It's really cool. I love.
It's not a cartoon.
I don't think I love this kind of poster art, even if it's a bit cartoonish. I think
I do too. But the mainstream audience thinks I made it out of it. Like for Drag Dragon, the same artist, this guy named Alex from Mexico, did a Drag Dragon poster, which I love. But everyone thought I was making a cartoon, so Peter Maher did it. Peter Maher again will do a poster with images, photographic images. But for now, as a teaser poster, I think that really works.
Yes.
This is my 16mm Steenbeck.
Yes.
So I cut Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter on that, and I cut Harry Knuckles, all the Harry Knuckles movies on that with 16mm. And there's that's the splicer I used to cut the movie.
Wow.
Anyway, this is where I'm gonna edit Dictos. So
Okay.
I'm about to start editing Dictos. So I'm gonna put my computer here and my monitor here. And so it's like going to bed in a familiar bed,
Yeah.
I feel there's magic over there, and it's going to allow him to cut a good movie and enjoy the process.
What do you watch usually? Like your your favorite go-to movies, or if you have a director that you really love.
It's funny. I go through phases, which is nice. When I was making Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter, when I was making those movies, I loved Jackie Chan and Sammo Hung, and that was my bread and butter. Especially, Sammo Hung and his choice. It wasn't just my favorite thing about a martial arts film isn't the way someone gets punched or the high flying kicks. It's the shots, the composition, and the editing, the process of making those movies that they brought to the table. That Sammo Hung felt the camera was the third arm in the punch.
Okay.
That the camera operator their camera operators were all martial artists, and they were a part of the dance. And the camera had to be the third arm in the punch. And watching the movies, knowing that Corey Yuen shot all Sammo Hung's movies, who would go on to be a filmmaker himself. The best filmmakers in the world are martial artists. Imagine the discipline you have to learn to train your body to be a martial artist, to be that physical, to take that same sort of sensibility and put it to be a filmmaker, to discipline yourself to be that kind of a filmmaker. No wonder those movies are sensational to watch. I love Mexican cinema. The Santo movies thrill me, and Herschel Gordon Lewis, and Jess Franco, and Joe D'Amato, and Umberto Bava, and Umberto Lenzi, and Lucio Fulci. I love all that stuff. I love all that. But nowadays, I'm really liking classic Hollywood cinema.
Okay.
I love Fritz Lang and Fred Astaire movies, and I love William Wilder and John Ford so much. It thrills me to watch these old movies that aren't old anymore. Old movies aren't old anymore. The Blu-ray, this era of home video, it's the most exciting it's ever been watching movies at home. And not as many people are buying physical media. Everyone's watching streaming. But for those who love cinema as much as we do, nothing beats watching an old movie on 4K. Ben-Hur just came out on 4K. That's the greatest home video experience I've ever had in my life. I used to work in a video store. I've been taking movies home and watching them at home and loving movies so much at home. So many vivid memories. But Ben-Hur and The Searchers, just before that, movies shot, Searchers, like VistaVision cameras, on 4K at home. It's insane how nice that looks. And I can't blink. I watched Ben-Hur, I couldn't blink. It's not a long movie anymore. And the old movies aren't old anymore because those movies look like they were shot yesterday now. And the closest we'll ever come to time travel is looking at an old movie looking that good. It's like time travel is that we can't get in DeLorean and go back in time, but we can turn on a window on our wall called a television and look back at the sets that were built and the costuming and the actors. It's incredible. So I'm just thrilled watching film noir. My go-to movies now are westerns and film noir, and I'm watching. What did I watch this weekend? Gentleman Jim with Errol Flynn. It's a boxing movie.
Okay.
And I never seen it before. It's 1941, and it was the most fun boxing movie I've ever seen in my ever. Just loved it. And so like all these old movies that are coming out on Blu-ray for the first time. It's like seeing them for the first time. They feel like new movies. I still love genre films, and I still go see at the Mayfair. We do very well with horror movies. We're showing Chopping Mall next month for the 40th anniversary. I love those movies so much, and I still love, the movies I grew up with. I still love Woody Allen movies. I don't like his life choices, but I like his movies, and I love John.
That's a thing for like most of the famous directors, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know. I still like Chinatown. I'm sorry, I can't defend anything Robert Polanski did as a human being, but Chinatown is incredible. And you know what? It's not just his movie. There's so many great things that went into Chinatown. You know that Crispin Glover was on the set of Chinatown? He just came to Ottawa. He came to the Mayfair. We spent a whole weekend together. He showed his new movie at the Mayfair, and he was on set. That scene where John Huston at the end of the movie, with his daughter in the car, the very final scene, he was on set for that sequence when he was a boy. So anyway, old movies aren't old anymore, and Marilyn Monroe and John Wayne is a big part of my life right now. But like I said, I still love genre films, and I love all the movies that are coming out. I have Faces of Death on 4K right there.
Wow.
It's crazy that this came out. It's crazy. 4K. Faces of Death in 4K. It's insane that this exists.
This is the original one, not the new movie.
This is the original bullshit documentary. Like, it's insane that this exists.
This was like the shocking movie of my like teenage years. Yeah. Oh my god, have you seen this? It's real. It's all real.
And I worked at a video store. We had 2 video stores. We had it, and there was a time where you had to bring them to get destroyed.
Wow.
Because it became illegal in Canada. And I remember going to Video Solutions, and they had a barrel full of them, and they were destroying them.
Oh no.
And I have a copy of part 2 in the other room on VHS, an original part 2. I hope the other ones come out. There's 5 altogether, but the first 3 are fun. And then part 4 and 5, I think, are just clips of the other 3 movies. But yeah, no, I don't think Face of Death is good, but I enjoy it. There's so many movies I don't think are good that I enjoy. Yeah.
Well, that makes them good for you, I think.
Yeah. Yes. Like, not well made, but good. That I enjoy them. Yeah.
Always be proud of your own bad taste.
Yes. That's a very good way to put it. I never feel like I'm wasting my time watching a movie, whether I like it or not. Like, if I see a shitty movie, it's just that it adds to the conversation, because we're always talking about film. We're always thinking about film. So no matter what you're watching, it's always you're adding to the conversation. Every new movie is just another part of the conversation to be had. And hopefully we like it, but if not, it's still there. I can still bring up shitty movies.
I know when we started running the film festival, Scene Underground, we saw a lot of shitty movies.
Yeah.
But sometimes they become part of, like, we still talk about some of them, and it's.
I used to work for the Ottawa International Animation Festival. I was just a driver. I would sit in on a lot of the screenings, and they'd watch so many bad movies, and so they would do every film festival basically is the best of what they got. Like, if you got 20 movies entered to your festival and you only show 5, well, those are the 5 of the best of the 20. So a week before the animation festival, they allowed me to do, with the festival director, the worst of the animation festival. So just before they started, we would show the worst films that got entered, and people loved them. Like, and most of the worst ones were really, really obscene movies. And I did the same thing for the Gay and Lesbian Film Festival in Ottawa, because a lot of the movies that were being sent were really, sexually oriented and really extreme.
Yeah.
And there was this one movie called Peter's Penis Tricks that I used to show. I showed it at midnight at a bar, and people were screaming and running to the exits.
Wow.
Because the stunts he did with his penis and used urethra. I still have it on VHS. It's insanely good. I love it.
Yeah, you have to love like bad movies, because sometimes bad movies have a lot of heart. I mean, sometimes no, but sometimes.
Dario Argento made a film with Adrian Brody.
Yes. Oh my God, Giallo.
Yeah. So that movie people hate, but I was in. Where was I? Was I at Cannes? I don't know where I was in the world when I saw that. The theater was sold out, and people were screaming and laughing so much. It was a thrill. It was like The Room. Giallo, the one screen I went to at Giallo, it was. I saw Irreversible at the Cannes Film Festival. I went with Michael Moore. Michael Moore just won the Palme d'Or for Boulder from Columbine, and he didn't want to go to a party, so he invited me up to the midnight screening of Irreversible, and I sat with him.
Oh my God!
And it was a midnight screening, and the theater had a stage to it. And people were constantly jumping on the stage and giving the middle finger to Gaspar Noé, and throwing things and screaming and laughing. And it was so much fun. Michael Moore and I were just laughing and laughing the whole time. It was really thrilling.
It's the only instance that I would say that Irreversible could be fun or a film to laugh.
Oh, I know,
because,
I know. It's not regarded that way at all.
Oh my God, no!
We were
It's
howling the whole because people were so pissed off. People were so angry, and they were yelling and screaming, and we were just enjoying the mayhem.
Wow.
I don't even know if Gaspard Noé was at that screening because it screened a few times at the festival. But when the festival ended, they showed it one more time at midnight because everyone was talking about it. I still have my tickets for it too. You know, in Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter, you know when Santo's in the limousine?
Yeah.
And and Mike Funk, the guy with the bald head, gives him 2 tickets to come see the show. Those are irreversible tickets. Those are my irreversible tickets from the Cannes Film Festival.
Wow.
They're turned around. You don't see it says irreversible. If you turn them around, it says irreversible. Cannes Film Festival, 2000. 1999. Yeah, anyway, whatever year it was.
Wow.
I think it was 2000, yeah.
Incredible. It's incredible.
Yeah. And those are my tickets. It was my ticket and Michael Moore's ticket. People just throw their tickets down. I like tickets.
You went with Michael Moore at Cannes Film Festival to watch Irreversible?
Yes.
Before making Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter, that was your
while making it,
and it was
we were already filming
your first feature film.
Yes.
How have you been involved with all this, with the world of cinema before making your first feature?
Well, I was there. I was at Cannes that year with Harry Knuckles and the Church of the Aztec Mummy because it won at Slam Dance.
Wow!
It won the what was the award called? It was like the one award that was given away by the filmmakers. All the awards were given out by a jury, but they asked the filmmakers to pick their favorite film of that year, and Harry Knuckles won. It was the Spirit Award, and because it won Slam Dance with the Cannes, and they invited me to go with them, and I ended up staying with Lloyd Kaufman because Lloyd decided to release the movie on VHS, and So I stayed with Lloyd, but I was there with Slam Dance, and I kept running into Michael Moore. And he loved me because I was really nice to his wife. And I kept saying, we're Canadians. And there's a part in one of his movies where he jokingly says, Canada, they don't lock their front doors. And I told him, we lock our front doors, by the way. Anyway, we got along really well. He introduced me to Pedro Almodovar one morning. And I got really friendly with Pedro, and I remember getting a nice hug from him when we said goodbye to Pedro Almodovar, who I loved. So before making movies, I worked in a video store, West Coast Video, for years, and I didn't learn to cash. I just walked the floors recommending movies.
Well, that's the dream job. Oh my God!
I lived the dream. They would pay me to walk around and talk about movies and recommend movies to people, and I had to do silly things like when White Man Can't Jump came out. That whole weekend I wore basketball sneakers and shorts. I dribbled the basketball and I recommended movies. On the Oscars, I had my own tuxedo. So every Oscars, I would go around that weekend wearing my tuxedo and I had my Oscar. And I had a section in the store called Lee's Picks where I'd have my favorite movies and people would rent my favorite movies. But that's all. I never rented a movie over the counter. I just recommended movies for years and years and years. And then I was going to high school, so we did this thing called co-op. Mm-hmm. So it's a cooperative education. So at noon, I left school and did work.
Yeah.
And they would find work for me that would interest me. So I was working a lot in television, and I was working for doing live television broadcasts. I was doing camera operation and sound mixing. And I was doing, assistant director work. I ended up working for a film critic for a whole year. And that was a lot of fun. I learned a lot about, because I was doing live camera, I learned to try to impress my director. I really like when the director asked me, Lee's the only one who can do an on-camera live zoom and keep focus. And I would I'd do it from live camera zooms. And if the director in my ear, because you're wearing a headset, was happy, I'd be thrilled. It'd be like, getting a lap dance at a strip club. Like, oh my God, I was so happy. And then working with the film critic. But I learned a lot about framing. Anyway, then I worked at the Canadian Film Institute here in Ottawa, and we showed movies on the weekends. And I remember we showed Sallow. We had a 35 millimeter print of Sallow, and we showed it often. And someone had a heart attack during the screening once.
Oh my God.
And we didn't stop the movie. The ambulance came in, grabbed the guy, and left. And the movie stayed on the screen.
Oh my God.
And we showed Deep Throat a lot. We had all these 35 millimeters coming out of Concordia University of Montreal. So and because it was a government place we were showing movies, we could show Deep Throat and Sallow and all these movies that were banned in Canada. We could show them. We showed Apocalypse Now on 16 millimeter, and it had a different ending. Before Apocalypse Now Redux, this 16 millimeter print of Apocalypse Now had the ending where the Kirk's compound at the end blew up. And I started telling people, you got to come see Apocalypse Now at the Mayfair, at the Canadian Film Institute, because it has a different ending. And then I worked at a different cinema after that, the Bytown Cinema, for a long time. I worked there for a long time until my daughter was born. I quit that, and then I started making movies. So the Canadian Film Institute, the Bytown Cinema, West Coast Video. I've had very few jobs that had nothing to do with cinema. I did work at a Chinese restaurant here in Ottawa, run by the Italian mob. I was 16 years old. I was a dishwasher, and on the weekends, they used to run prostitutes out of the kitchen. So that was my first job in Ottawa. And as soon as I afforded a video camera, I quit. Because and they also found out my dad was a cop, so they wanted to get rid of me. But I bought my first video camera working at the Chinese video store. I didn't have any interaction with the prostitutes, but they were there. I'd wash the dishes, and there'd be a big line of sex workers. It was crazy, and I was so young. And one night there was two Chinese cooks, Mr. Hum and Mr. Moon, and they got into a machete fight in the restaurant while I was washing dishes. And Mr. Hum cut off Mr. Moon's fingers, boom, with a machete, with a cleaver. That happened when I was 16 working there. And that's what made me start being a filmmaker, because I afforded my video camera and I started making movies. I got away from the Italian mob finally.
Wow. I wanted to ask you where you get all these crazy ideas, but I think your background answers all these questions.
I mean, that's just one part of my life, and there was a lot of things in Newfoundland. There was a lot of violence in Newfoundland too, but mostly it's from watching movies. All my crazy ideas doesn't come from life experience. Mm-hmm. It comes from watching movies and making heroes out of Herschel Gordon Lewis and John Waters and Doris Wishman. Those are my heroes. My Batman was Herschel Gordon Lewis. My Wonder Woman is Doris Wishman. Andy Sedaris, Jess Franco. If you could think of them as heroes and they are heroes to me and you, right? I watch a lot of movies with my kids, but I want to sit down and show them Pink Flamingos, and show them Hideout in the Sun by Doris Wishman, and watch The Wizard of Gore with them someday, just so they know where it all comes from. Because I watched those movies with my eyes wide open. I was leaning forward watching these movies, thrilled. I was like on a roller coaster, and not only watching them like that for the first time, but showing friends I would bring movies to parties. If my friend was having, I'd bring a Jackie Chan movie. I remember when First Strike came out, I had a pirated VHS copy, not the Hollywood release of First Strike, but the original Hong Kong version, which was longer. The action scenes were longer and more intense. I'd bring the things to the parties and show my friends. It's like, stop trying to get laid. Look what Jackie Chan's doing here, or look what Doris Wishman's doing with her camera.
You are basically it's fun. You're basically describing me when I was at the parties.
Yes, and if you love movies that way, Lorenzo, it's no wonder we're friends now. If you love movies that way, we're all going to find each other. And we're all going to eventually find each other. I find that if you love movies with all your heart, in Ottawa. Some of these people are going to go to the same movie theater as me. We're all going to find each other. We're going to find each other online. That's it. It seems like it all comes together, and we love things like murder and violence and gore and blood and guts. But it's so wholesome in a way.
Yeah.
It is. We have a big nudie scene in this new movie, Dick Toes. Mm-hmm. There's a big sequence set in a nudist camp, and there's lots of full frontal nudity. But I can't tell you how wholesome it is to me to watch. I can't tell you how much fun it is for me to see all these things. Like when you make a horror movie, you use buckets of gore.
Yeah.
You make buckets of blood. On this new movie, we're making buckets of cum. Like we had 4 giant buckets of cum on the action scene, on the car chase we were doing, and we're throwing cum around like it's blood, and it's nice. My friend who made the cum, he's married, and he spent a whole weekend making buckets of cum with his wife for our new movie. And it's disgusting when I say it to a normal person on the street, or I'm walking my dog and saying we're making buckets of cum, but it's nice. It's for art. It's to make people laugh. And,
it's fun. It's fun.
It is. My kids think I'm crazy, but that's okay. And my wife. But buckets of cum bring me lots of joy.
Okay, so
Buckets
you're telling me that we will have to screen Dick Toes at Sin Underground as a midnight movie. Not
yes, I hope you get arrested. But yes.
If you want to, we can do other episodes, other things. Maybe just to promote Dick Toes more when it will be. Really?
Yeah, I'd like that. I like hearing other people say Dick Toes. I say Dick Toes so often, it's like it doesn't mean anything anymore. But when I hear someone else say Dick Toes, I laugh. Like, you want to promote my Dick Toes. You want to help me get my Dick Toes out to the world.
It's amazing how many stories you have about the cinema. I didn't know anything about Cannibal Holocaust 2. This is... I'm still thinking about it. I'm shocked.
The only thing it's missing is not enough animal cruelty.
That's the thing that I really hate.
I know. Me too. But you can't make a sequel to Hannibal Lecter. You can't make it. Like, now that we didn't make it, you can't make it. And the only person who could make it was Ruggiero, but he can't do the things he did. So
fortunately, that's a thing. That's animal cruelty is a thing that I don't think adds anything to the movie.
No.
What like I love seeing like the fake spiders in The Beyond by Lucio Fulci. I love seeing the fake bats in Suspiria. It's something that I love puppets. Doesn't
you should see my puppet. You should see my puppet in Dick Toes. We have a puppet. So this is one of the puppets in our new movie. His name is Dingleberry.
Oh my god.
He's playing reverse strip poker. And to get out of the nudist camp, you had to play reverse strip poker to get your money back. But that's the guy, Darren. He made all the buckets of cum for me, him and his wife. So, you know the movie Hitchhike?
Yeah?
That's my favorite David Hess movie. David Hess and Franco Nero. So I convinced David Hess and Franco Nero, but we're going to redo it, where David Hess is on a honeymoon and they pick up Franco Nero as the hitchhiker. Wow. So it would be the same movie, but just Franco Nero would play the guy in the back with the gun, and David Hess would be on his honeymoon all over. That we were going to do that, and David pitched it to Franco, and Franco Nero loved it. I also had a really good script for another Django movie. We were going to do a Django movie in Ottawa, in Ontario, and Franco Nero loved it, and it was about because in the United States they brought a lot of slaves across the border to Canada. Okay. So, you know, in Django, he's pulling a coffin.
Yeah.
And you don't know what's in the coffin until he opens it, and there's all these guns. In our film, our Django movie opens, he's pulling 3 coffins. And when he finally opens it, there's slaves inside. He's bringing slaves across to Canada. And that was our movie. And I couldn't convince it. The producers loved it, but we couldn't convince any investors to go into it because they just thought Westerns wouldn't, a Western movie, a Django movie about the slave trade wouldn't work. And then years later, Django Unchained came out. I was like, damn it. Anyway.
That movie with Franco Nero with Django and Franco Nero involved and you directing, I think would have been way really better than Django Unchained. I'm sorry.
The script was amazing. Ian wrote this big, cool action scene. We found this western town in Ontario that had this big water mill in the middle.
Yeah.
And the water mill, the river came through the town, and it pushed the water through this mill, and the whole town was built around this mill with this giant wooden wheel in it. And he had built this incredible action scene around the windmill, where the guns go down the river and they get caught inside, and then Django gets the gun up the top. It was gonna be so thrilling. We were so excited to make it, but we were told time and time again, westerns wouldn't sell. The westerns only sell in the United States. They wouldn't sell anywhere else in the world. But anyway.
I have to show you when we've got the subtitles ready. Some new movies that we are distributing that are Italian movies. Do you know Godfrey Ho, the director? He made Operation 5, Godfather the Master. It's a movie.
I know Godfrey. Yeah, I know Godfrey Ho very well, but not all of his movies. That's cool.
Wow. Some guys from the north of Italy made a direct sequel to it.
Yeah. Wow.
And they made a sequel to the sequel, and it's a Western movie because the ninja protagonist goes back in time.
Cool.
And I have to show you because I think you're gonna love it.
The Italians do it better.
And
that's amazing.
It kind of reminds me of one of your movies because it's got like all these crazy characters like ninjas, gangster. There's a Templar knight. Like your movies are so iconic because you've got these amazing iconic characters.
Well, thank you. We try. It's not up to you. It's like you make the movie, you do the best you can, and then once you show people, it's not your movie anymore. And it's nice to hear that from people. Like you can't make people enjoy a movie a certain way. And to hear you say that, it's nice because I was hoping someone would say that someday. But yeah, it's fun. Once your movie's out there, it's like once you let it, after the premiere, it's not your movie anymore. Oh, my computer's about to die. I just got an email. I just got a notification. Your computer's about to die. I gotta go plug it in. I don't know. I'd have to go upstairs.
Thank you so much for your time. And it's been great. And like I said, I want to talk with you about movies every day.
Well, let's do it again soon. Let's talk again soon.
Thank you, Lee. And this was the first episode of a series of videos of conversations with directors. Hope you enjoyed it and see you on the next one.